Hi, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Marley G, back at y'all in another episode of Running With You. And tonight I want to run it with y'all about 9 to 5 jobs. Is it modern day slavery? A lot of people feel it is modern day slavery. It's something I talk about with my friends a lot. I watch other podcasts discussing this topic. I see a lot of people discuss it on social media, podcasts, and when we going into 2026, we are going into a digital age, and I think we haven't even scratched the surface when it comes to people utilizing AI, the smartphone, making money off of social media, making money off of being an influencer or posting, or just so many different things at your disposal to utilize what we have with this technology. Now, I do think that when it comes to working a job, it's different than when it comes to working a career. It's a lot of people who are in their career who are doing something they either love doing or they're doing something that they don't mind doing, and their trade off for their time money is fair to them, because that's the thing. You're trading your time for money, and that's the big thing that people have a problem with. Working this 8 hours to have an objective to complete a goal in mind for someone else, making them rich, versus using that 8 hours to make yourself become, you know, rich, or if anything, work towards your goal if you have an entrepreneur spirit or mindset. Now, one thing about it, everybody can't be an entrepreneur. It's gonna have to be workers in this world. Now, I do think it's a difference between a job and a career. Like if you're just working at McDonald's for 10 years, 20 years, I could say that you wasting your time because you should have been advancing. If you're gonna be at McDonald's, at least be the CEO of McDonald's, in that chain, or the manager, or work your way up through the corporate ladder. But who am I to say you know you waste your life there? It's some people in this world, believe it or not, had the same job for 10 to 20 years in they entry level position. Whether it's at Taco Bell, whether it's at Burger King. Y'all remember when that one man was working at Burger King and never missed a day, and all that, and all they gave him was some, gift cards and thank yous and stuff like that, and people were just so outraged. Who was to say he didn't like that? Like, we can't dictate on someone else's feelings, and we can't be projecting. Like, everyone has different mindsets and ideologies. Um, Everyone's perception is their reality, so if you have an entrepreneur spirit and an entrepreneur mind frame, the person that's working for a company, to them, if that company is treating them well, they might not feel the same. They might don't want to carry that burden or that stress, because the entrepreneur life ain't all glitz and glamour. A lot of these entrepreneurs fail. Now, should that deter you from at least trying? I don't think so. I'm of the mindset of work your job, but at the same time have something that's working for you on the side if things go left. Because at the drop of a hat, you know, you could they could cut your overtime hours. At the drop of a hat, you could get laid off. At the drop of a hat, you could get fired. Majority of the time, so long as you're going to work and doing what you're supposed to do, you got good attendance, you got good work ethic, nothing is going to happen for the most part. But at the same time, just in case anything does happen, you will want to just have some extra money that you able to make to where you independent. And a lot of people feel like if you got 7 different bills, you got 7 different things that you have to pay monthly, you need to have 7 streams of income, or at least have your main stream of income, or at least two more. Now, if you got one good stream of income, then you good. But for the most part, you always want at least some other stuff. Now, as far as being an entrepreneur, you're gonna go from a 9 to 5 to what they say, 24 hours around the clock, because you're gonna have things that you're gonna have to tend to, even when you're on vacation, even when it's the middle of the night. Anything could go a-rod that you're gonna have to tend to, or else you're not gonna be a good CEO, you're not going to be a good boss that you think you are. And a lot of people fail when it comes to these entrepreneur jobs because they don't have good customer service. They don't. They have shitty customer service. They get back to people late. They not on time. They not professional. You know, and one thing about having good service when it comes to being an entrepreneur, you want to be able to retain clientele. You want to be able to retain customers. And not only retain customers, but you want them to give a good report to you to other people so other people can come to you. That's the key. So if you're not ready for that, then you don't need to be an entrepreneur. And everybody ain't got to run their own business. Me personally, I would rather something where I'm making something monthly that I invested in, that I ain't got to physically be there. And I don't want to even have my own business, because one thing, if you're doing a black owned business, you're going to be behind an 8 ball from the start. That's going to come with certain problems. So I wouldn't even want my name on my business. And a lot of people want certain business to get the recognition to post on social media just to say they did this, look at my accomplishments. I would rather make solid money. Give me some money while I'm right under the radar and I'm making money solid. And I ain't got to have my name on it. I ain't got to be attached to it or nothing. You know? That's why I always say, being a good investor, buying certain land to where you can make money off it, like that's probably the best thing you could do. But see, all these restaurants, clothing lines and all that, those the main businesses that fail. Now if you want to work for yourself and be out there physically working for yourself, to me that's no different than a job. Because even when you're working for yourself and you're doing something you love, it's going to be certain things that you hate about it. Even actors and rappers and athletes, you don't think they got certain things a part of their job that they hate doing? Some of these rappers, they don't like to go on promo runs and go to this radio station, that radio station, do interview after interview, go perform night after night. Like some of these people don't want to do that stuff, but that's a part of what they signed up for. So just like that, when it comes to entrepreneur stuff, it's going to be stuff that you're going to have to tend to. And on top of that, when you're on vacation, you're not going to come back to no check unless you're not physically there or have somebody else physically there running it for you. You're not going to have no insurance, medical insurance. You're going to have to come out of pocket for all that. And another thing about being an entrepreneur, you got to know about finances. If you don't know about finances, you're going to be under the 8 ball. You're going to be behind the 8 ball. Learn finances, learn credit, learn taxes. Learn about, 1099s and all that type of stuff. And even if you're working for a job, learn about 401k. If you're working for this company, you want to know the ins and outs so you don't get shorted. But in real life, it is real people out here who's going to work, who love their job, or who don't mind what they're doing. And that's the main thing, dog. I got a brother, he was an entrepreneur crazy. But every idea, it kind of ultimately failed. And he took a lot of risks and he did a lot of gambles. And that's good. Take risks, take gambles, especially while you're young. So that way when you older, you have no regrets. Tackle life by the horns. Go out there and get your feet wet. Try things. Take risks. I'm all for that. Be true to yourself. Go make mistakes and learn from them. But one thing he did, he made a lot of mistakes. He was a serial entrepreneur, and what he came to realize is the main thing he made money off of was real estate. And he said as long as he could do real estate and work a job for a company, that he could make the most money doing as less as possible, putting as less time as possible, he good. But at the same time, it's everyday people out here who are living a good life and they got a good ass job making good money, making over 100K. Whether they got a certification for it, and that's a lot of things people doing. People getting certification. It's a lot of jobs out here that people are sleeping on that you can make a lot of money off of. You could just be one of those people who just doing safety briefings for a company and they make good money. Welders make good money. Electricians make good money. Just because you're working for a company don't mean that you're a bum. Just because you have a boss don't mean you're a bum. Look at Dame Dash and look at DJ Envy. Dame Dash talked all that about DJ Envy, and DJ Envy still do his DJ thing on the side. He still got his real estate stuff, yet he still goes to work at Breakfast Club because he loves what he's doing. So what if he got a boss? His family is well taken care of. He's good. At the end of the day, bro, you gotta do what's best for you. We can have all these debates online, 50-50, 9 to 5 versus entrepreneur. People gotta do what's best for them in their household. It's literally tomatoes. What might not work for me, will work for you. What work for you might not work for me. Go out there and go, get your feet wet and try to do something even while you at the job. Go to your 9 to 5, and then from 6 to 10, try to work on what you want to do. And if it don't work out, at least you could say you tried. Learn about credit. Learn about trading. Learn about all that, especially if you're young. And even if you're not young, even if you're in your mid-30s, mid-40s, still try. It is never too late. You could be learning something, learn a new skill at 45, and at 47, you will be thinking yourself that you put in 2 years of hard work and dedication and consistency. And from 47, you could be living a damn good life from 47 on. But you want to always start young, because imagine if he did what he did at 45 at 25, or did what she did at 45 at 25. You know? But I just don't like when people who are entrepreneurs try to shit on people who are, working a job, That's the main thing I don't like. As if you got a boss, you just automatically a bum. As if, oh, you got to put in vacation time, you're not a man. As if you got a lunch break and you got to go to lunch when you're assigned, you're not a man. Like, nah, bro. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to adhere to somebody. If you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to adhere to your customers. You're going to have to adhere to your clients. So I just think that, bro, everybody gotta do what's best for them. All I know is it's electricians out here, it's carpenters out here, it's people getting into tech out here. I met a man at my job. He's about to retire from my job, and he's been doing 20 years at my job, 25 years doing tech. Now he's about to retire from my job, and just do tech, which is his own little thing that he do. He cracked the code. He was working for a company, getting free flights, free benefits, and on top of that, he could make his own schedule. And on top of that, he's got his own thing going on the side with some tech stuff. He cracked the code. So you never know what somebody really, got going on. Everybody just gotta do what work for them. Everybody gotta do what work for them. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be ready to put your big boy pants on. You got to be ready to make these business calls. You got to be ready to make these emails. You got to be ready to be competent. Because if you're not ready for that, your business is not going to go nowhere. Everybody want to be a boss until it's time to be a boss. Until it's time to be professional. Until it's time to be, dedicated. If you want your business to succeed, you're going to have some type of, you got to be coherent. You got to be, you got to be on top of your P's and Q's, but that's just my whole take on it. But to compare it to modern day slavery, bro, if people only knew what people who were slaves had to go through, you could quit your job at any time that you want to. And that's what a lot of people do. Some people get jobs and quit them very soon. Don't give a damn about a resume. And that was one thing people back in the day used to do. They used to kind of care about their resume, so they'll put in 2 weeks notice and try not to have too many jobs because you're not staying in the same place too long. Nowadays people don't give no fucks about that. People don't give a damn about that. They'll quit a job that same day and go DoorDash until they find another job. You know? But I mean, that's just all I wanted to speak on when it comes to this topic. I talk about this a lot with my friends, and I just wanted to share these tonight. I want to know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How do y'all feel about it? Like I say, man, it's a difference between a job and a career. You know, a job to me is something that you're just doing to get from point A to point B. You know, it's just a stepping stone. You're just doing this for the time being to something better come along that you're working on, or you're just doing this while you're in school to try to get a certification in something or whatever the case may be. Or you could just be doing it because you need a summer job. Like you probably 16 and you just want a summer job for while you out of school, you know. But a career, that's something that you put in time and effort, or that's something that you jumped in. It might not necessarily be your passion, but you don't mind what you're doing. You making decent money. You don't really got too many complaints. You comfortable, you know. But let me know down in the comment section what y'all think below. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and go ahead on and hit the like button to help with the algorithm. I'm out. Till the next time.